Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled you're joining me today. Look, if you've ever hosted a group dinner, you know exactly how chaotic it can get. You're trying to time everything perfectly, monitor the oven, and somehow still manage to, actually enjoy the company of your guests. Well, as a pretty experienced home cook myself, I'm constantly on the hunt for those brilliant, foolproof recipes that just take the stress right out of entertaining. And today, we are unpacking the ultimate solution for that: Patriot Slow Cooker Texas Pulled Pork. We're going to break down exactly how this creates an absolute feast for a crowd, totally stress-free. Let's get into it.
Now, this isn't just some random list of ingredients we're throwing together today. Right on the original recipe, this dish comes with the ultimate badge of honor, the quote, "my family's favorite." And let's be honest, when a dish earns that title, you just know it's a tried and true, battle-tested winner. It practically guarantees those crowd-pleasing results that'll have your guests begging for seconds, all without keeping you chained to the stove while everyone else is having fun in the dining room.
So, what's the actual magic here? Well, traditional Texas BBQ is a literal art form, but man, it is notoriously time-consuming. You're dealing with heavy smokers, managing charcoal temps, constantly checking the meat for hours on end. It's a whole ordeal. But with this method, we're getting that highly sought-after, authentic, tangy Texas-style flavor effortlessly in a slow cooker. It's the perfect problem and solution for anyone craving that real-deal BBQ taste with literally zero stress. To really wrap our heads around the scale of this feast, we just need to look at one number: 4. This entire recipe is built around a massive 4-pound pork shoulder roast. Establishing this right off the bat is important because, well, a 4-pound cut of meat isn't just a quick weeknight meal for one. It's perfectly designed to feed a seriously hungry crowd.
Okay, so exactly how big of a crowd are we talking about here? 8. The recipe yields enough perfectly portioned pulled pork to generously fill 8 hamburger buns. Just think about that for your next gathering. With a single slow cooker and one big piece of meat, you've got the main event completely handled for 8 people. It truly is the ultimate easy fix for hosting a group.
All right, moving on to section 1, assembling the ingredients. Let's go ahead and build our flavor arsenal.
Let's break down this liquid foundation. We kick things off with 1 cup of standard barbecue sauce, but obviously we're not stopping there. We're adding half a cup of apple cider vinegar, half a cup of chicken broth to keep everything nice and moist, and a tablespoon each of prepared yellow mustard and Worcestershire sauce. Now, the cider vinegar and that yellow mustard, those are the real MVPs here. They are exactly what builds that signature, sharp, tangy Texas profile that cuts right through the richness of the pork. And hey, as a home cook who loves a punchy flavor, if your crowd enjoys an extra kick, do not be afraid to add just a little extra splash of that apple cider vinegar for a truly mouth-puckering tang.
But wait, we can't just rely on tang and savory notes, right? We absolutely need balance. That's where we bring in a 1/4 cup of light brown sugar, a tablespoon of chili powder, an extra large chopped onion, 2 large crushed garlic cloves, and 1½ teaspoons of dried thyme. The sweetness from that brown sugar perfectly mellows out the sharp vinegar and mustard we just talked about. Meanwhile, the onion, garlic, and thyme layer in this deeply savory, complex, but still super approachable flavor profile that literally everyone at your table is going to love.
Section 2, the low and slow cook. Time to set it and just forget it.
The assembly here is, well, it's almost shockingly simple. Step 1, pour just 1 single teaspoon of vegetable oil right into the bottom of the slow cooker. Step 2, carefully drop in that massive 4-pound pork roast. And step 3, just pour in your BBQ sauce, vinegar, and broth, then stir in the sugar, mustard, Worcestershire, chili powder, onion, garlic, and thyme. That is literally it. There's absolutely no pre-searing required at all. You oil, drop, dump, stir, and cover. The whole prep process takes maybe 5 minutes tops.
And this right here perfectly illustrates why this recipe is so flexible. You actually have 2 distinct cooking paths. You can set it on low for 10 to 12 hours, which is fantastic if you want to start this first thing in the morning before you head to work. Or if you're starting around lunchtime for an evening dinner party, you can just blast it on high for 5 to 6 hours. It completely adapts to whatever your specific day of event schedule looks like.
Now, regardless of which time setting you go with, this right here is your absolute ultimate visual cue for doneness. You cook it until the pork shreds easily with a fork. You're looking for that meat to be so incredibly tender, so yielding, that it practically melts apart the second you poke it. After absorbing all those tangy, sweet, and savory liquids for hours, it's gonna be amazing.
Okay, section 3, shredding the pork. We have finally reached the magical moment.
First up, carefully pull that super tender pork out of the slow cooker and grab 2 forks to gently pull the meat apart into beautiful bite-sized shreds. But here is the absolutely crucial part. You must return that shredded meat right back into the slow cooker. Stir it up really well so it combines with all those rich, complex cooking juices left in the pot. You want every single strand of that pulled pork dripping in that tangy Texas flavor.
Moving to Section 4, the golden buttered serve. Let's elevate that presentation. Listen to me, whatever you do, please do not skip these serving essentials. You're going to need your 8 split hamburger buns, about 2 tablespoons of butter, maybe a little more if needed, and a skillet set over medium heat. If you're going to spend all day slowly cooking a beautiful piece of pork, you absolutely have to treat the bun with the exact same level of respect. Consider this a non-negotiable pro tip from my kitchen to yours. So here's exactly how you pull off that perfect serve. You spread a nice layer of butter on the inside of both halves of your buns. Then lay them butter side down in that heated skillet. Just let them toast until they build up this gorgeous golden brown crust. Why do we do this? Because that toasted barrier creates a sturdy, flavorful base that can actually hold up to that super juicy, sauce-heavy pork without instantly turning into a soggy mess. And finally, the moment we've all been waiting for. You take that incredibly tender, juice-soaked pulled pork, spoon it generously onto those sturdy, golden brown toasted buns, and serve it up. Honestly, to really knock this out of the park for your guests, I highly recommend serving this alongside a crisp, creamy coleslaw to cut through the richness, maybe a big scoop of classic mac and cheese, and definitely wash it all down with an ice-cold sweet tea or a crisp light lager. The hard work is entirely behind you, your kitchen isn't a disaster zone, and it's finally time to sit down and feast.
So we've seen just how shockingly easy it is to pull off a mouth-watering, crowd-pleasing Texas-style BBQ with nothing but a slow cooker, some simple pantry staples, and a little bit of patience. The only question left to answer is, who are you inviting to your pulled pork feast? Seriously, think about it, send out those texts, and go fire up that slow cooker. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on The Explainer today. Get cooking, and I'll catch you next time.